Welcome back. Welcome back. It's so much fun to have you as our listener, to have you back here. Welcome, welcome. I hope we have some fun things to in store for you today that are going to be practical, useful, and interesting. And my co-host, Richard. Richard, it is so good to have you again, the coach of coaches. Richard, with your amazing newsletter and all the information that you love to spread out to reach other people and help out. It is fantastic to have you here on the podcast of Mindful Matters. Good to see you.
Thank you very much, Oresztesz. That's very kind, and I'm really pleased to be here. And look, less anxiety today, and more joy and more peace for you next week. Because look, honestly, I love your questions. I love the topics that you're bringing up. I love the way that you're working with people, and the way that you not just help your clients, but helping new generations of students coming through. I think is really, really inspiring, and I think this is a really great place, because all the stuff that people are going to be listening to here, whether you're just listening to it, whether you're watching and seeing us here, this is information that is really, we found, very powerful and very useful. That's not necessarily very widely known, or certainly not very widely taught yet in schools, and yet these are essential life skills to navigate. So to be here with you today, Oresztesz, again, is an enormous privilege, and can't wait to dive in.
Wonderful, wonderful. Thank you, thank you. Yes, and today I just wanted to share with you. I read something really interesting just a moment ago that I found fascinating. Apparently, they are making some computer parts out of mushroom skin, which are actually biodegradable. I mean, of course, it comes naturally if you already develop the technology. You realize that technology is generating way too much e-waste, and all that e-waste is going into, it's so much cheaper to buy the new thing instead of repairing anymore, because that's how companies at this point turn the biggest profit, that they are making something extremely complex and complicated and sophisticated, and they take care of all of the parts. So when the whole thing comes out, it's just so much more difficult to fix it than to get a new one for a pretty low price. That generates enormous amounts of waste, and now people have realized, okay, we need to do something about this. And now they are turning to see what are the things that are already in in the smartphones and in the computers, and how can they do it. So it turns out that they found out there are some ways of creating insulation instead of plastics from something natural. I just find it fascinating, the insane amount of creativity and the human capability. It just does not stop to amaze me how many things are possible or made possible every single day. And this is just one news on the Positive News website that I like to look at. It just blows my mind. I mean, what my takeaway from this is that as a human being, you can always find new, better, more powerful, more efficient, somehow improved solutions to the things that you're doing. And I am 100% convinced that this applies to every single one of us. This applies to you, the listener. You can always find better, more efficient, more powerful ways of moving forward in life. It just blows my mind.
Oh, it's blowing my mind, Oresztesz. And a while ago I was talking with some people about creativity, and I used to kind of use two metaphors of the working memory and the inner genie. Okay, and I think that most people, their working memory, what they can literally focus on at any one time, is, we know it's quite limited. All right, researchers now think it's 4 items you can concentrate on at once. Somebody who is, should we say, on the neurodiverse spectrum, that is more like 1 or half of an item. So it's a small amount, and yet that vastness inside us, this reservoir of creativity inside us, which is like an inner genie. How can you tap that? And I found actually that it can be very straightforward. as long as you develop a relationship where you fundamentally get used to asking questions, or as questions come up to which you want answers, maybe how can I achieve this, or what's an insight that can help me with this particular goal, to somehow externalize it and get it out of your mind so that you can be more relaxed and more calm. And I've taught people this so well that they can write it down. They can write down the problem that they have and externalize it. Go out for a run, or go out for a walk, or go out for something with their friends, and their mind is so clear and unencumbered that ideas start coming through and inspiration start coming through. And when you see people like this, when you see things like you're talking about coming through that, the beautiful thing is to consider that we are all capable of that, individually and collectively, of coming up with creative solutions and creative ideas. And part of the key is to develop that a real sense of trust in yourself, because paradoxically, when you allow things to incubate, when you set an intention and then you relax and go and do something else, you have that phenomenon that we've all had where we can't find something, the house keys, the car keys, a watch, some item in the house, and then we forget about it. And then we're in the shower, or we're talking with somebody, we're sitting down calmly, and that comes through. And once you can make that a system inside yourself, once you can build in the trust that you can allow time for ideas and insights to come through, when you have that relationship with yourself, it's a wonderful place, because you can admire, you can look at the things on your Positive News website, you can admire them, and then you can start to imagine and become curious that you can do things like this.
So what would you say, Richard, the operant elements of this creativity is? Because we all have had the experience of coming up with something, just the right solution, right at the moment when we let go. I guess I might be giving away one of the one of the elements here, but it happens there. I mean,
yes.
I'm sorry, but yeah, just forget about the wording I used. I'm going to the bathroom, but it is kind of a moment that you're taking a pause from everything else and you're paying
Yes.
attention to your body. Or when you're taking a shower, there isn't really anything that you can do other than taking the shower. So it really makes no sense for you to try and take all the pressure with you when you're in the bathroom. Just forget about other things, and that's when your inner genie, as you say it, allows it has the space to create the solutions. Now, just think about this for a moment. Consider the idea of a solution coming up when you are not using your intellect, when you're not using your conscious processes that we so commonly associate with problem solving. What we usually think we do in our conscious mind is think about the outcomes, think about the origins, think about the solutions that we have available, think about new combinations, try and consider the future in light of these solutions. And we think about all of these, and we think that this is the most efficient, or some people say the only way to solve problems. Then when you stop thinking about it, when you let it go, either in the bathroom, taking a shower, for me, it happens when I go on a walk. Sometimes, unfortunately, when I'm ready to go to sleep, I kind of let go of the problems, and that's when some of the solutions and some of the inspiration comes. But any situation like this, consider what are the elements so you can consciously be aware of those and allow those to happen more frequently. I think
Agreed.
one of them is the idea of letting go. What else would you recommend our listeners to work on and maybe carve out a few moments of their day to remember and bring together?
Yeah, no, I think that's really good. Well, I think the letting go aspect, you can think of it in a few different ways. So the beginning part of the the operant kind of like parts of this, as you mentioned, Oresztesz. The first is a deep desire to either achieve something or solve something. So it could be a negative trigger or a positive one. So there's some emotion there, So typically, something's arisen, can be a challenge or something you want to have happen, and you have some questions. So there's a bit of maybe a bit of confusion. Where is it? How do I get going? What's the next step? How do I make a decision? The first
Would
thing
you
is
call
to
this the motivation, the reason for wanting
yeah,
to deal with
I
something?
think I would say the first thing really is lingering in the motivation. It's recognizing that this is important for you. Okay. And the crucial thing here is the moment you recognize that, I would suggest externalizing that, because exactly like you said, what most people do is their way to solve something is what I call washing machine mind. So it's now to keep churning it around, the same thing getting in the mind. If you externalize, if you write it down, this is my outcome, these are this question, this question. Not to try and find any solution at all. So you recognize this thing, you've lingered in the motivation long enough to feel it. Two, write down the couple of questions that you have, however many they are, might be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And then the easiest way to let go is to go and do something else. And there's lots of reasons for this, but when you change, when you move, they call it psychological distancing in psychology. So for instance, if you're having a challenge with somebody, the best thing to do is to go out of the environment, the immediate environment you're in, into a different environment. Go for a walk somewhere else. Exactly, this classic one that you've mentioned there, Oresztesz. Going for a run, going and doing a completely different activity, going and cooking a meal. And what will happen is now you're activating different circuits whilst you're doing that in a different context, which means that your inner genie, your unconscious mind, your subconscious is still working on it, still working on that in the background. It's just that your conscious mind is now free and engaged in another task, which whenever we switch tasks to do something else that sustains our attention, it can be reinvigorating, that idea that a change is as good as a rest. Okay. But that's still working in the background. So that idea is in its kind of basic essence of trusting in the kind of the incubation process, where you linger, you then externalize, write down. I suggest writing down, although you could do it verbally or you could do it in terms of images, but writing out the idea so that your working memory is clear, and then going to do something else, parking it. A good night's sleep is another classic kind of example.
Right.
What that does is when you have a little bit of distance, of either physical distance or distance in time, it allows those ideas to come through. And this is really important, because when you can do that, then you can still use the critical faculties of your mind to be able to consider certain things and ideas. But you can also allow for a lot of heavy lifting and clarity to come through. And one idea maybe to consolidate this is, we've all struggled with an idea or a problem or a situation, or felt that it got to the end of the day and we had no energy more to give to that. And then we went to bed and had a good sleep. And we woke up in the morning, and now we wake up and all of a sudden the clarity's there. Why? Well, we were dreaming, we were resting, we were incubating. Your mind had the chance to work on it, free from interference.
Absolutely. So the sequence would be: identify your motivation, your reason, your desire to solve something or to get away from something. I mean, negative motivation also is something that we need to consider. There are some things we do not want in our lives. We do not want our children to end up, I don't know, in a gutter, dependent on some kind of external substance or something. So, internal positive or negative, I mean, away from motivation.
Mhm.
You identify that, then you spell it out. Say it to yourself what it is that you want to achieve, or what it is that you want a solution for, what it is that you want to improve, right? And then change your physical space, change
Yes.
where you are, and change your mental state in terms of allowing that idea to work somewhere else. And that can be hard. If it's something really important for you to solve, you that might require an effort. So recognize the fact that it is important that you do not keep using those same circuits in your brain. I am not sure how this works, but you might imagine that just like, it's the same information stored in some parts of your brain. Now, if you're using the washing machine brain that is just moving around the same pieces, you might think of this as you are not allowing those same pieces that are probably key pieces to have access to all of your memories and all of your creativity and all of your capabilities, because that's what you are. You are a problem solving, surviving machine that's incredibly capable, that has been very resilient. If you have made it all the way to 2022, I think that you are doing some things right. So, and you come from a long line of survivors. Every ancestor of yours have survived long enough through wars and all sorts of hardships from nature, from man, from history. So, you're doing something right. So when you allow your mind to no longer continue to engage constantly in the same thoughts, you allow those to be free, not occupied, and then those thoughts that you have thought about gets to combine with all of the thoughts that you have not remembered to think about. And that's when creative solutions come up. That's when you
Yeah.
find new things that can be really interesting, completely. Sometimes it can just really be surprising for you, even. I mean, consider this idea. You come up with a solution that surprises you. The little,
Mhm.
huh, I haven't thought about this that way. Or, hey, wow, that's an interesting idea. Those ideas come from the rest of you, the one that you're not working and thinking and trying to solve everything. It comes from the rest of you. And even though it can be hard sometimes, you do want to remember to let go using this simple process.
Agreed. Agreed. And I remember a couple of episodes ago, I think you took me through a process actually doing this visually, where I was kind of imagining stuff going up and then getting to a peak and then letting it go. And really, a lot of the time, I think it's a very powerful metaphor, that, because look, as we've seen, our ability to focus on in the present moment is quite limited. If we, as a lot of research is indicating now, we can only focus on perhaps maybe 4 items, in our kind of hold that in our working memory at one time. Well, if you have ideas in there that and concerns, then that a lot of that bandwidth is taken up by any anxiety inside and any thoughts that are replaying. So if you can get used to shifting some of that so that your mind feels more clear, you will feel more relaxed, you'll feel more comfortable, and you'll be able to notice ideas that may have been percolating for a while, that or maybe ideas or inspirations or intuitions or insights can come through so much more easily because your mind is clear. So the idea of having a little bit of time here will serve at least a couple of things. One, you can practice clearing your mind so you feel more relaxed, which obviously has wonderful benefits. Secondly, adding this buffer of time here will prevent a lot of problems that people have. Why? If you think about it, a lot of the challenges that people have, something happens, they get a little bit triggered, and then they react to it. But they don't react in the way that is most useful, because thought and a clear mind are not functions of a person who is engaged in stress or is confused, because their amygdala is triggered. They have less access to the prefrontal cortex, the different parts of their brains being used. So if you train yourself when you have even small challenges or things that come up or little or things that you know are small problems or irritations, if you get used to writing them down and then going and doing something else, if you do have the luxury of a little bit of time, then what will happen is you'll develop a much more robust way of dealing with things that you can get spontaneous solutions to, but also that can avoid any negative unintended side effects. How cool is that?
Very cool and very inspiring. In fact, Richard, do you think it? I think it might be valuable. If you don't mind, I'm putting you a little bit on the spot here. How about maybe you walk me through just a quick session of relaxing the mind, of letting go, and we can invite our listeners. If I know Richard, this is going to be amazing, and you might want to timestamp this part of the podcast, and at some point come back to it. Whenever you want to do this, whenever you just have an idea, you have this concept, you want to solve something, and then just want to send your mind someplace else where it can be comfortable, where it can just enjoy a little stroll or just have fun out in nature maybe, or some fun place, and allow your mind to come up with some kind of a small step forward that is going to help you feel better about the problem, even if it's not even solving the problem, just feeling more relaxed about it and
Yes.
walk you towards a more generative way of looking at how you are going to solve it eventually.
Nice, nice. Okay, well, fantastic. Well, look, so I guess the first thing is to think of something small, something specific you'd like to have some insight in, or
Right. Yes. So I am thinking that I have really enjoyed working with some salespeople on helping them feel more inspired and have their best version come up. So my intention is what I would like to do is find more companies that would be interested in just a quick free presentation that is going to give them a few ideas. I would like to find more places where I can present this. This is my intention. I would like to find more companies where I can give them a free speech that might inspire some of their salesmen to want more and
perfect,
personalized guidance.
wonderful, wonderful. And so you have a clear intention there, and you've got this recorded on here. So that will be your equivalent of having it written down. So now you've stated that and you know that. You don't need to think about it anymore, which is really nice because what it means is you can take a comfortable breath and you can close your eyes and relax your eyelids to the point where they just won't work. And when you know that they're fully relaxed, so relaxed that they just don't want to move, and go ahead and give them a little test, and then let go. And let that relaxation continue to work its way down all the way through your body. And as it's working its way all the way through your body, you may remember a sense of seeing yourself in front of you with a smile. And I don't know if you can see that smile getting bigger as you remember that comfortable feeling inside. But I do know that you can imagine or consider what it would be like to pan back or draw back as if you were seeing yourself over there, as if observing in a movie. And you might start to consider and notice what it could be like to see yourself meeting a wise man, a wise person who has some knowledge and insight for you. And I don't know what kind of wise person this is. Maybe they have something they can hand to you. But I'd like you to notice the shift inside as you consider receiving a gift, something of interest to you. And you can thank that person. And you can comfortably float in to this you with more knowledge, more wisdom, some kind of insight, and become curious about how this might show up, what it has to teach you. You might just take a moment to notice how good you're feeling, how comfortable your body is. And I don't know if there's some kind of sensation inside. And smile, something around your eyes, some other feelings. But I do know that you can be surprised and delighted about how many ways you can anticipate new ideas and the benefits of all of this in a way that's right for you. So in a moment, whenever you're ready, just comfortably have a nice stretch. Gently open your eyes and come on back to Mindful Matters.
Ah, huh. That was nice. Oh, very, very enjoyable.
Welcome
I'm
back.
laughing because we pre-framed this whole idea and how surprising the ideas and the answers can be naturally, and of course that's what happened. Even in
Go
this
on.
even in this very quick demonstration. I'll share it with you because it's nothing like deeply personal or anything, which is something that we both keep very respectfully. Should anyone ever be in a private therapy, but this one was very interesting. It's I You mentioned the wise man appearing, and I thought of a person that I consider to have had lots of learnings and experience, and I was waiting for some really insightful, comment or something.
Mhm.
And I'm sorry, I keep laughing about this. It basically handed me a cell phone.
Wow. Make some calls.
Yes, I mean, just go out and start talking to
Mhm.
people, even if I don't exactly know what I need.
Mhm.
I mean, it is so obvious, and this is, by the way,
Mhm.
something as a meta comment on my own story. This is something that is going to happen to you as well when you engage with the process. I mean, I highly recommend that you, even if you did not come along for the journey this time, you might want to just rewind the tape, go back a little bit. I'm sorry, I'm dating myself here. So just go back a few minutes and experience this experience for yourself. Richard has artfully created this quick little demonstration in a way that it's easy for you also to insert your own experience into this. So, and then you can find something that is surprising like this. It was very surprising for me because I have been thinking about this and what do I want to create, what kind of flyers and what kind of information and the website and the landing page and how to start promoting this side of the business that I found out just recently that I enjoy very much. Um, and all this wise person did was just give me a phone, and I'm like, oh, this is way too obvious, but also it was impactful and interesting for me because I know that if I start making the phone calls, even if the first 10, offers are gonna completely fall on deaf ears, I will already, just by engaging in the process, I will figure out many things, and anything I end up actually doing, I will do the things that are relevant, not all of the things in the washing machine brain, just the relevant things, and I will know how to make call number 11 a whole lot better. So
Yep.
That was very
Beautiful.
impactful, and I highly recommend engaging with this technique. And also just realize that this is a demonstration of the principles. So if you have better ways, like going for a walk, like thinking
Mhm.
about your intention, putting it in the back of your mind, go for a walk, jog, do some exercise, let go of those problems, and you will find better and more creative solutions. And thank you, Richard. This was fantastic.
You're very welcome, Oresztesz. Well, I've really enjoyed it. Thank you for going through that. And I think you're right. I think that this is a great way for people to sort of engage with the underlying principle, which is once you have something, it's great. There's a point where you want to increase the desire to focus your mind on it. And then once you've done that and you've kind of made some record of it, you've externalized it for yourself, go, let go, take a break, go and do something different. And then what happens is the solution may just be very, very obvious, or or you will get the clarity, or you will at least get the clarity about what's next to do. So would you say that in terms of your next step, it's much clearer for you now?
Yes, definitely.
Beautiful. Thank you so
Definitely,
much.
definitely. Thank you. And also thank you for listening. Thank you for sticking around until the end. I hope you have taken away a very practical and very useful tool that you can use and adapt for your own way of how you want to engage with it. Or you also have an example that you can come back to and practice and experience for yourself. So I hope this was another useful episode. Please make sure that you click like on the video. Make sure that you are subscribed to make sure that you will keep getting these videos in the future. And of course, if you feel like someone could use a little bit of letting go and allowing their mind to become more creative and get unstuck from a problem, even if it's just a general idea, sometimes even deeper things can benefit from a moment of not continuing to think about them in the same way that some people might have been thinking about them sometimes for weeks, months, years even. So then please make sure that you share this video. And Richard, thank you so much. It was yet again a great session. I really enjoyed it. Thank you. Check out the show notes on underneath the video to make sure that you find all the ways in which you can reach Richard and myself. Uh, my place is Less Anxiety Today, Facebook, and also the YouTube channel, and of course, and the website, obviously. And I look forward to helping you out. Thank you so much, Richard.
Thank you very much.
Anything else you wanted to add, or just before we sign off?
Oh no, no, thank you. Well, look, please, I'm lovely to, I love engaging with people, and so if you want to do that, I've got a newsletter you can sign up to. You can find out the weekly newsletter on Twitter. If you go there, please, I would, I would love to share more of this with you, much as we're doing here. And like Oresztesz says, please subscribe, please share this with your friends, please like it. And let us know in the comments below anything that interests you or anything you'd like us to discuss further. And we look forward to seeing you next week.
Fantastic. Take care.